IPv6 address types. In this video, I'm going to talk about the address types in IPv6 and compare the address type of IPv6 with the address type of IPv4. As you know, in IPv4, we have three types of addresses or three types of communication. For example, the first type of communication in IPv4 is unicast communication, or the first type of IPv4 addresses is unicast. Unicast addresses should use to one-to-one communication. You know that in IPv4 we define class of IP addresses. For example, class A or class B and also class C are used for unicast communication. For example, what is the unicast communication? In unicast communication, one system should send traffic or sends traffic to other system. For example, PC1 sends traffic to PC3. This is the unicast communication. Okay, assume that we have 192.168.1.1 as an IPv4 of the PC1 and 192.168.1.3 as an IP address of the PC3. When you send the traffic from the source IP of 192.168.1.1 to the destination of 192.168.1.3, this is a unicast packet, and also this is a unicast communication. And also we use the unicast IP addresses as the source and the destination. This is the unicast. Okay. Also, we have the same type of communication in IPv6 address types. Exactly same with the IPv4. We are using unicast in IPv6 address, okay, for one-to-one communication. Okay, but in IPv6 we don't have the rules or the concept of the class of IP addresses. You know that in IPv6 we don't use any class of IP address. For example, we don't have class A, B, C, D, or E. Okay, but we use many of IPv6 addresses for unicast address, or for example, unicast communication. For example, when you send a traffic from PC1 to PC3 with this IP address, assume that the IP address of the PC1 is 2001, okay, DB8.1.1.1.1.1, okay, and then for example, PC3's IP address is this IP address with the, for example, this is 3. A packet should be sent from the PC1, so IP address as a source IPv6 address, to the IP address of the PC3 as a destination IP address. Okay, this is the unicast packet and this is the unicast communication. Okay, we are using unicast in IPv6 such as the unicast in IPv4, but we have a difference between unicast of IPv4 and unicast of IPv6. In IPv4 we are using class A, B, or C for unicast addresses, and in IPv6 we don't have any classes, for example class A, B, or C. Many of IPv6 addresses are unicast IP addresses. Okay, we will talk about exactly the unicast addresses in the future videos, but for now it's sufficient to understand that we have unicast communication in IPv6 such as IPv4. This is the first part of this video. The second part of this video, multicast communication or multicast IPv4 address types. You know that in IPv4 addressing we are using class D for multicast. What is the multicast? We call a communication multicast when in that communication one system sends traffic to many systems. For example, PC1 sends a packet and this packet, okay, reaches to, for example, two systems or two computers, PC3 and PC4. How we can send a packet that this packet reaches to the two system? It's so easy. You know that in multicast we are using class D of IP addresses. For example, when a system such as PC3 has a unicast IPv4 IP address, it can also join to a multicast group. For example, 226.111. Okay, this is a class D IP address. And also, PC4 has two IP addresses. First, the unicast IP address that is unique, and also it can join to a multicast IP address that PC3 joined. Now, in both of PC3 and PC4, one multicast IP address is assigned. Because of that, PC3 can send the traffic from its unicast IP address to the destination of multicast IP address that before assigned to PC3 and PC4. Because of that, this packet should accept with PC3 and PC4. Don't forget, in every multicast packet, we are using source for source IP, a unicast IP address. In destination IP, we are using the multicast IP address. Because of that, you know that in IPv4 until now, we have unicast communication one-to-one, such as PC1 to PC3, with unicast IP addressing, class A, B, or C. And also we have multicast communication or multicast IP addresses that's come from the class D. Multicast means one-to-many. And this means PC1 can send only one packet and the traffic reaches to more than one system. For example, two systems or maybe three systems. Okay? And how we can implement this scenario, you know that we should join the PC3 and PC4 with some application to a multicast group, for example, 226.111. And then a traffic should be sent from the sender with this unicast source IP to the destination of multicast. This is multicast. An interesting thing that we can understand is that in IPv6 address, again, we have multicast communication. But as you know, as I mentioned before, in IPv6 address, we don't use for example, class of IP addresses. We use another method for multicast addressing. I will talk about this in future videos. But again, we have multicast communication, multicast addressing for one-to-many communication. For example, you can again send the traffic to the PC3 and PC4 with one packet. Okay, how? Here, assume that this is the unicast IPv6 address in PC3 and PC4. Also, we assign the multicast IP address to PC3 and PC4. For example, FF12 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a multicast IPv6 address. Maybe you ask me, what is this? And how you create this multicast IP address. I will talk about this in the future videos. But for now, this is a multicast IPv6 address. Don't forget, in IPv6, all of the multicast addresses are started with the FF in the two first characters. Because of that, as you can see, in PC3 and PC4, we have same multicast address. And now you can send the traffic to FF, for example, 12:1234. This is a multicast IP address. And now the traffic should be accepted with the PC3 and PC4. And this means that we send the traffic to PC3 and PC4 simultaneously with only one packet. Again here, we should send the traffic with the source IP of the unicast of IP address of the PC1, but the destination is multicast IP address, multicast IPv6 address. The concept of multicast in IPv6 and IPv4 is same. Because of that, between IPv4 addressing and IPv6 addressing, we have two same type of communication or same two type of addresses, unicast and multicast. Unicast is used for one-to-one, multicast is used for one-to-many. That's it. But let's talk about more